The Penghu archipelagos are made of basalt rocks and coral reefs and composed of up to 64 islands located in the Taiwan Strait. They are noted for the column basalt formations of volcanic activities. Those islands are located in the subtropical climate zone, which is the reason for its warm and humid weather. All coastlines form different sized and quality tidal flat and wetlands. It's the most precious habitat in Taiwan. The exchange between cold and warm currents near Penghu also makes it a rich and diverse marine ecosystem. Come and listen to the enthusiastic calls of the sea and enjoy the fun of rich and abundant ecological world. During the migration season, there are always numerous and varied migratory birds flying to Penghu. Penghu is the stopover spot for migrating birds for its special geography position. In summer, there are birds that leave the tropics behind to spend this season in Penghu, while during winter, birds from colder northern areas come here to spend the season. Tourists can't miss to appreciate the beauty of the charming migratory birds. When it is summer, you can see the terns on any seashore of Penghu. It's featured of tern of the major summer migratory bird, including some precious birds like bridled terns, black-naped tern, and roseate tern, and so on. The islands are surrounded by lofty wonder of cliffs and dense high-hill grassland, offering perfect habitats for seabirds. It's easy to see those terns perch in large groups together on these islets. Those summer migratory birds from south are going to breed their young generation. Terns flock to uninhabited islets and other isolated reef islands to mate and propagate during the summer season. Penghu is offering seabirds an excellent environment for terns to perch and reproduce. 30 centimeters long, almost white all over the body, with black line on the eyes, stretching to the back of the neck. The black-naped tern's mouth and feet are black, long tail with deep fork. They often rest on the beach in small groups or stand on higher cliffs, holding chances to catch fish and crustacean for food. The black-naped tern always flies to Penghu in May and chooses the cliffy rock as the place to build its nest. The color of egg and the basalt rock can form the protective coloration. Though the egg is quite safe, the mother tern still keeps high alertness and watches out carefully. After repeated conformation without any predators, the mother tern will come back to its nest and continue to hatch. There is only one egg in a nest, and that is why they are so serious about the safety of the baby terns. It is getting cooler when winter comes, and here comes another flock of migratory birds. Those birds, such as families Anatidae, Scolopacidae, and Charadryidae, fly from north to spend winter in Penghu. Generally speaking, the habitats and food of these birds are quite different from those summer migratory birds. For example, the mangrove of the tidal zone and the wetland of the swamp are their favorable habitats. The ecological diverse environment of Penghu is perfect for different families of birds in different seasons. Other than those migratory birds, there are many resident birds here in Penghu. It's easy to hear the pescador skylark singing frequently, if to slow down and listen carefully. In the grass where birds gather, skylarks are discovered singing in clear and melodious, and Indian blankets swing in the wind everywhere. That's the bustling scenery which is often seen in Penghu. The Indian blanket grows everywhere in Penghu. It lives in the climate of strong seasonal winds and a scarcity of rainfall. This flower with tough vitality becomes one of the superior species, which can survive in the meager soil of Penghu grassland. The beautiful railroad vine crawls all over the beach with its rootstock in order to fight back the fierce wind blowing off seashore and improve the function of absorbed water. Besides, with those alternate and leaf texture leaves, the railroad vine can survive with the burning hot and droughty weather. The flowers of fresh orange Indian blanket is with strong vitality, just as the island people possessing the spirit to fight under however difficult surroundings and never get frustrated, and therefore being chosen as the county blossom in Penghu. If you observe carefully, there are many tiny little fluffs cohered to the Indian blanket. With strong protection from those fluffs, the Indian blanket can survive on the ocean shores to fight against the sea wind erosion and prevent water from vaporization. The cactus stands on the basalt brings another appearance of Penghu. The cactus can survive in a very harsh environment because its stem is thick, flat, and stiff, which can prevent water from evaporating. The century plant with tall floral stems has the plump leaves. Other than the water-containing function, those leaves can also resist the salt in the air stick to itself. That is the reason you can find them perfectly fitting the environment of Penghu. There is a mangrove as the emerald green forest can be found if you coming to the Qingluo wetland. Avicennia marina is the major plant found in the mangrove. The most distinguished feature of the Avicennia marina is its stick-sharp respiratory root. The respiratory root system spread in radiating to make plants stand still under the attack of wave and tide. The mangrove creates a fantasy land to many creatures and migrating birds because it can keep sands and protect the wetlands. Therefore, the mangrove has major contribution to wetland ecology. Located at the border of bayou of Black Current and China Longshore Current, and the coastlines form different-sized and substrate tidal flat, Penghu is the most precious natural resources area in Taiwan. In the environment, every creature is surrounded by other animals and plants and influenced with each other. When the tide ebbs, the pools show up after the tide fall. The tidal zone nourishes abundant aquatic life, making itself the mini marine biological world. The tidal zone after ebb is exposed under the sun, and its temperature is getting higher. The variation of surrounding of tidal zone is huge to these creatures. To avoid overheating and drying out by the sun, those marine creatures living in the tidal zone look for the shelters as rock cracks or the bottom of seaweeds. Because of the flat terrain, the wide tidal zone, and the little change in depth along the coast, there are abundant coral growth on the seabed of Penghu. The coral reef mostly seen near the front end of the tidal zone along coasts. The distribution of coral is extremely extensive, which make the coral the most important benthos around the Penghu Sea area. The coral reefs become a perfect home for fish, crabs, and shrimp because there are lots of plankton living in this warm coral forest, and fish take plankton as their food. If you want to experience the beauty and wonder of the sea world, do not miss the Penghu Aquarium. Here contains interesting displays of the various types of fish. Through detailed and vivid explanation and varied showrooms, visitors can get to know better of marine resources and the concept of conservation. As you're walking into the Crystal Dragon Palace, you can observe fish from various undersea worlds without any interruption to the marine ecology. This is the place full of knowledge and surprise. Each year, the conservation animal, the Chelonia midas, or called green turtles, visit these clean and non-interfered sandy beaches, as usual in Penghu. Green turtles live in the water all of their life, but they must return to their birthplace to reproduce and go ashore to spawn on the appropriate moment. Usually, the female turtle crawls to a sand beach and digs a hole with its forelimbs, then digs a hole deeper with its hind legs. It starts to lay eggs in a hole after everything's settled down. The process of spawning takes about 15 minutes. After spawning, the female uses her hind legs to cover the eggs with sand, then crawls back to the sea. The turtle egg incubates into baby turtle all by itself after 50 days, and then the baby turtle crawls out of the nest in groups. Even though it is so new and young to this world, the baby turtle can smell the breath of the ocean. The turtle swims bravely to the sea near the birthplace and back into the warm seawater of Penghu. There are lots of records regarding spawning of green turtles. But nowadays, there only exists the Wan'an Island as the constant place for turtles to lay eggs due to the environment deterioration and human destruction. The government established the Green Turtle Protection Area and the Penghu Wan'an Green Turtle Tourism and Conservation Center in order to conserve the breeding environment for green turtles. The main purpose of this center is not only assisting academic institutes to conduct research work within the center, but also promoting ecology of green turtle conservation through exhibitions and education of people. People and nature have chosen this island as their habitat for the sake of purity of Penghu. The ancestors handed down the beauteous island resources to us with their wisdom and the concept of sustainability. Now, the environmental conservation of Penghu is our responsibility. We need to guard and preserve this beautiful paradise for our next generation.